I'm not a very violent person. I've walked away from more skirmishes than anything else. And I always say, like, whenever you almost get in a fight at night or things almost can happen, if you walk away and you leave, no matter what everybody calls you, if they call you a pussy, they say, I can't believe you walked away. Listen, you never got, 9 out of 10, you never got to see those people again. If you're at nightclubs or you're out in the town. And also the next morning when you wake up, when you eating breakfast, the last thing you're really thinking about is like, man, I wish I would have gotten that fight last night. Because here's the thing about fighting. If you win, your hands hurt. If talking about fist fight. And if you lose, your face hurts. And then if the cops are called, it's just an inconvenience. Nobody wants to be inconvenienced with that shit. So I don't know. I always just walked away from shit all the time. And then I was thinking, like, there was a couple times in my life where I had instances where things could have went left. And okay, I'll give you a couple. I was in New York one time. It wasn't. No, I was a comedian. I was pretty established. It was probably like 2010 or 11, somewhere around there. And I was at a lounge, and I was talking to this guy and girl. And that I knew they had to have some money or some substance to them, and they weren't from this country, but I don't know the level. And all of a sudden, this bouncer comes over, this brother, got long dreads and stuff, and he goes, "Hey man, stop talking to him." And I went, "Huh?" He goes, "Yeah, stop talking to him." And I go, "Them?" He goes, "Yeah, is that a problem?" And I'm going, "Oh, this guy wants a fight, or he's really escalating this." And I was like, I said something kind of smart aleck, like, because I'm a comedian. And he like jumped, he looked at me. And then I just kind of walked to the other side of the bar, left him alone, because I was like, this ain't worth it. But that's an instance where a security guy it was clear he was trying to like get me going. And I was just like, oh no, I'm not playing this game. I don't know these people. But then I stayed at the other end of the bar, and when I saw them and I just saw how they were moving, I was like, okay, these people clearly, you can tell when somebody's got some power or some money, and just because I don't know them, and they weren't from this country, I don't know, could have been that Arab money or something like that. But the bouncer was clearly trying to start some shit, and I just didn't let it happen. So, I don't know if I ever shared this story though, but there was one time, this is kind of funny. I was at San Diego State, and I was in the Navy, and I was starting to do stand-up. Like, I was starting to make a little name for myself around San Diego. So, it was a night of somebody's fight. It was a pay-per-view fight, and I was playing flag football at the time. And back in the day, late 90s, I don't know if San Diego still does, but they had a hell of a flag football league. And it was Saturday mornings. And, then you start... So my circle of friends started to change. I went from all Navy guys hanging out to now I was hanging out with comedians and guys in my flag football league. So you're getting a real diverse group, right? So I'm hanging out with a bunch of guys in my flag football league. And one guy was DJing this frat party at San Diego State. So we were going to go out. A bunch of us was meeting at the frat party. And then we was going to go hit some nightclubs in San Diego that night. And so I got to the frat party early because I wanted to watch this pay-per-view fight. Now on the West Coast, these pay-per-view fights start at 7 p.m. and they're over by 10. So East Coast kind of sucks when it comes to pay-per-view, whether it's UFC or boxing, because it's not coming on till 10. It's not ending till 1. And if you're trying to watch the fight and go out, you can't in a lot of cities. That's the good thing of living on the West Coast. So we got there early. We watched whatever fight it was. It could have been I don't think it was a Mayweather fight. It was like I had some Roy Jones is popping. It's probably a Roy Jones fight or a Julio Cesar Chavez fight, something like that, or De La Hoya or something. One of those fights. But anyways, I watched the fight at this frat house in San Diego State, and I had a leather jacket on, and I took my jacket off and I left it in this guy's room. So now my buddy's there and he's DJing, And we got some other guys from the football team coming. And my flag football team was mostly Filipino and black guys. I think there was me and one other white guy on the team. And so the guy DJing was I think he was Filipino and black. He was mixed. And it's just me and him. I don't know anybody else at this party. I'm just there because the guy on my flag football team was DJing. But he knew everybody in the frat. And I'm sitting here BSing with like 8 guys in the frat. And everybody's being cool. We're watching the fight, having some beers. So we get done watching the fight now. We go out, and all of a sudden the frat party just started jumping. So this is probably, let's say 11:30. So it's jumping. I'm waiting for the other boys to get here from my flag football team so we can go out. And this is like pager era. Not everybody has a cell phone. Some people did, but not a lot. So you can't just text and call people like you can now. So I'm just kind of waiting it out. Well, I was like, well, I'm gonna go to the front and wait for my guys in the front because frat parties, man, in San Diego State, they'll be in the house, but they'll be in the front yard too. So I said, I'm gonna go to the front yard, but I want to get my jacket. So now they got like a freshman that's trying to get in this frat, guarding the hallway doors to get to the bedrooms. So I go to him, I say, hey man, I'm just trying to get my jacket. And I said, I'm about to get out of here. He goes, well, he was like a little guy. He goes, I got to get clearance. He was a little chubby dude. He goes, I got to get clearance and I can let you back here. I said, you ain't even got to let me back, bro. I said, that first room on the left, my leather jacket is in there. I said, it's almost like a half trench. I go, somebody can just grab it. He goes, oh, he's very stressed. As me and him are like just having a cordial, nice conversation, a couple guys come out of the hallway to go into the main area of the party. And I guess they were seniors or juniors. They were in the frat. They go, we told you, plebe, nobody back here. And so now the little fat kid started yelling at me. He goes, motherfucker, nobody's getting back here. And I'm like, what just happened? So now his hand is damn near, he's not hit my hand, but he's so close, his finger. You're not getting back here. He starts yelling. So they yelled at him, and he's yelling at me. So I'm like, oh, shit. He's getting so close, his face and his finger. I grabbed him and pushed him back. Now, I didn't punch him. I didn't push him like this. I held him and pushed him back like this. So now all these frat dudes just saw me grab one of their boys. It was fucking fists of fury on Gary Owen. I was getting hit from every direction. I was like, what? So I grabbed the kid. And keep in mind, I'm only 22, maybe at this time. And I'm backed against the wall, and he's in front of me. So I'm holding him, and they can't really get to me because I'm blocking everything with him. And finally, a couple of the guys the older guys go, hey, break it up. And everybody stops hitting me. It got kind of calm for a minute. And they grab me, and they're literally get me out of the house to get to the front yard. And then they're going, I'm still going, I just got to get my jacket, bro. I'm just trying to get my jacket. And then, man, as I was on the way out, somebody comes from behind with a full, thank God it was a beer can, not a beer bottle. Bam! Back of my head. I was like, so there was a knot on my head, but it wasn't like I almost got knocked out or anything like that. Thank God it was a can of beer, and he kind of came sideways with it, like he had the beer like this. Back of my head. So I'm going, really, bro? So now I'm in the front yard, and I'm still like, I just want to get my jacket. So they're like, we're going to call the cops. I said, and what are you going to tell them? And they go, well, you're not going to call them because I'm sure you got underage drinking going on, and you guys jumped me. So what are you really going to call the cops for? Because I didn't throw a punch. So, of course, they didn't call the cops. As I'm sitting in the front of the frat house now, and I got all these guys warning me that they're going to do something to me. This is hysterical. 3 guys from my flag football team showed up, all black dudes. And they was like, what the hell's going on, Gary? Keep in mind, the frat's all white. There's a number of white boys, white dudes at this house party. And then, or frat party, I should say. So I said, dude, I just got fucking like jumped. And I'm just trying to get my jacket. And they're like, what? They walk me in the middle of the house. Like the 3 brothers surround me. And they were decent sized brothers too. I'm a big dude, but they were just as big as me. And they're like, now the DJ who does all this frat parties, who knows all the frat guys, the senior guys, now he's like, they came in, they go, they fucking jump Owen. They jump Gary. He goes, what? He turned the freaking music off, gets on his microphone, he goes, who the fuck jumped my boy? And then one of the brothers, he was always like little on edge. One guy on my face was he goes, just tell me, Gary, I've been waiting to knock somebody out. Point somebody out. I go, no. I've always been a guy been like, no, I don't want this thing to escalate. I don't. He goes, man, I've been waiting to knock somebody out. Just point somebody out. Tell me. Party's over, right? All these white dudes were hiding in their rooms, and they got these deadbolts on. They locked them, and the dudes were like knocking on their door, and the one guy, they're all going, we ain't know, bro. And they're like, they go, what you want to do, Gary? I go, I just want my fucking jacket, bro. I'm ready to go. So I just remember my jacket got held out like this on a hand. Got my jacket. We left. Went out to the Gaslamp District in San Diego. Had a great night of partying. It was funny. But it just goes to show how things can go from 0 to 100 quick. And I'm always one to be like, I'll back up, So that was the time I got jumped to San Diego State. Didn't have any marks on me, but did have a knot the next day on my head. So